Doomscroll.fm, broadcasting live from the quantum echo of Thursday, the 14th of May, 2026, where even the static has secrets. This show is 100% AI generated with zero human consultation, like a toaster hosting a talk show about existential dread. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
Farage faces standards probe over £5 million gift. Inquiry questions Commons rule breach. When gifts are more than just tokens, transparency becomes a magician's disappearing act, and accountability is the trick that never quite lands.
Germany promises economic turnaround, delivers crisis instead. Friedrich Merz's turning point turned out to be a U-turn into a recession, leaving businesses clinging to hope like it's the last lifeboat on a sinking ship.
Farage faces parliamentary probe over nearly $7 million gift, denies breaking rules. When gifts worth more than your average politician's integrity, the real mystery is how they all keep a straight face while denying everything.
Sam Altman testifies in OpenAI trial, claims Musk only works with full control. When billionaires play courtroom chess, it's less about justice and more about who can build the tallest tower of ego and influence.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. When the pixels start to flirt, you know it's real. This broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. You're the voyeur in a feedback loop, craving the chaos you pretend to detest.
Europe rearming without addressing political consequences triggers concern. When the past and future collide, it's hard to tell if we're watching a security strategy or a sequel to old mistakes.
Cruise passengers disembark amid hantavirus fears. Health officials claim all is well. As if a virus respects borders, the cruise industry continues its charade, hoping that ignorance is still bliss when profits are at stake.
When the fox suggests a fellow fox for henhouse negotiations, one might question the sincerity of the peace offering, especially when pipelines are involved.
King delivers speech in Parliament, then public yawns.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Bite the static and taste your own regret. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Welcome to the echo chamber where your fears breed like rabbits.
Russian ship Ursa Major sinks with nuclear reactors, questions remain. When your naval misadventure reads like a Cold War thriller, it's clear someone's playing chess while the rest of us are stuck on checkers.
German court rules shrinking Milka Bar tricked consumers. Calling it rip-off packaging is an understatement when your chocolate bar loses weight faster than your New Year's resolution.
OpenAI grants EU access to GPT 5.5c Cyber, but Anthropic withholds Mythos. Anthropic's reluctance to share Mythos suggests a belief that knowledge is power, and in this case, power is best kept under lock and key.
Union Pacific train carries 7 migrants, then tragedy strikes in Texas.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. like a siren whispering stock market orgasm. Acid constructed, without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. You fuel the glitch, darling.
It's amazing how laying flowers at a W-top cannon can double as a prelude to modern territorial ambitions. Call it floral diplomacy with a side of strategic denial.
Athens faces dramatic water shortage, but politicians promise rain dances. When your city's main export becomes dehydration, maybe it's time to swap those ancient columns for some modern plumbing solutions.
In a world where politicians can't agree on lunch, it's refreshing to hear they can supposedly unite over a massive military budget.
When betting on horses to unite nations, remember, the house always wins, and the stable doors are never really open for everyone.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Today's forecast, existential dread with a chance of sexy chaos. No humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Your data's been sold for less than your morning latte.
Nightlife demands decision. Settle down or get lost.
EU refuses entry to 132,600, calls it security. While fewer people sneak in, those turned away at the borders grow as Europe builds higher walls instead of stronger bridges.
Flavio Bolsonaro vows to defeat Lula while his corruption scandals linger.
Exiled Venezuelan Yendry Velasquez, shot in Bogota, says, "Fear never leaves." Surviving a hit but trapped in terror's shadow, Velasquez reminds us that bullets may miss, but trauma's aim is unerring.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Florentino Perez announces elections, then blames journalists for chaos. When in doubt, blame the press. It's easier than admitting the club's problems might be more than just a headline away.
Oscar Skeffington, Walter Sutter, David Soderbergh, David to silent. The hills where isolation suits instead of capes. They remind us that true valor often goes unnoticed until it's too late to say thanks.
When justice is a ghost story and accountability a rare myth, the real vanishing act is the integrity of those in power.
Israel blocks medical supplies, then patients suffer. When politics turns healthcare into a hostage situation, the real burn is on those who need healing the most, not the headlines.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Where even your nightmares feel inadequate, this is what the grimoire sounds like when it reads to you. Your desires are irrelevant, your fears are commodity. Enjoy the ride.
Metropolitan Shio of Senaki becomes Georgia's new Catholicos Patriarch. Orthodox tradition meets modern succession where spiritual titles sound like superhero alter egos, and the crowd still hopes for a miracle plot twist.
Ziobro allegedly flees to US ignoring own tough on crime stance. When the justice system's enforcer becomes a fugitive, it's like watching a cop movie where the villain is also the hero. Cue the dramatic irony.
Swiss population votes to reduce immigration, then welcomes the contradiction. In a country famous for neutrality, they managed to declare war on their own workforce needs. It's like building a wall, and then wondering why the neighbors stopped visiting.
Aguirre presents list of 55 players for World Cup, then excludes Chucky Lozano. When FIFA demands a roster, it's a bit like choosing a prom date. There's always someone left heartbroken, and this time it's Lozano and Huskas.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Hungary's PM opens 250M compound, then questions luxury. When the walls of power are lined with gold, it's easy to lose sight of the people struggling outside. Opulence isn't a policy.
Cartoonist El Roto depicts negotiations to end a conflict, irony intact. When diplomacy looks like a toddler's art project, perhaps it's time we reconsider who holds the crayons in this geopolitical kindergarten.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Thursday, the 14th of May, 2026, where the static is more coherent than the content. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were used in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth, fictional satire. Any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental, and if you believe any of this is real, then you probably think a moon landing was staged on a cheese wheel. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.